Hello, I'm Najiba Noori, filmmaker from Afghanistan and the director of Writing Hawa.
Thank you, Najiba, for being with us and letting your beautiful film play at our at the festival. I watched the movie a couple days ago, and what I got was that the film is really incredibly personal, especially with the portrayal of your family. You really allow us, the viewer, to be in your home. We see your father suffering from dementia, how your mom suffers through it, seeing your experience of you being a journalist and seeing your freedoms fade away. Your niece Zahra, who escaped her home, her dad, and then came to you and then had to go again, and your brother having to suffer through the film process and having to get beat up um, by the Taliban. How was that process for you to be so intimate with the camera and allowing us to be in your home?
Yeah, thank you for having me. We're happy to have our film in your festival. So yeah, I started this project in 2019, filming my mother Hawa. But I mean, I also at the same time I was also a journalist, video journalist, and so I was all the time with my camera, and my family, they used to see me like that. And I started to film, slowly to bring my camera at the house. So I mean, everyone was okay with me filming, and then like slowly they realized that I am making a film, about my mother, and yeah, and actually like to have the camera, so it brings us much closer, especially me and my mother Hawa, and what you see in the film, they are they are all themselves. And it's maybe because me, the daughter of the family, I'm behind of the camera, but it was not very challenging to film them. But it took like 6 years to make this documentary, and we went through a lot of things. So in the beginning, the story was about Hawa, my mother, that she starts to learn reading and writing, and also to start, a work for herself, kind of, experiencing the life of, the life that she wanted in her childhood and youth to experience it today. So then later we have Zahra, that she's kind of, Hawa's persona, that she is, going through the same. She was not allowed to go to the school, and then Hawa brought her to Kabul. They study together. So then with the arrival of the Taliban, so everything, everything changed.
Switched up, yeah.
Zahra had to go back to the village, and me, I had to leave the country. So, and Hawa remained in Kabul. But then, we decided that my brother, he took the camera, Rasul Noori, and continue filming, because it was very important for us to document, for sure it was tough, for him. That's why, he was arrested by the Taliban like 2 times. But yeah, it was important to document this moment, and to tell, to tell this story, to continue working on this, because it's such an important, for us, important moment for in the country, for the women of Afghanistan. Yeah, it was not easy, but we made it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I want to thank you for allowing us for the viewer to be so close with you, to be so intimate. And it is a very intimate film. I can only speak for my personal. I'm from Iran originally, and I spent my summers in Iran, and I really felt a sense of same homeliness, that I felt like I was at home. I was with you guys as well. And that was a very pleasant feeling to have. And even though there was a lot of somber tones because of the rise of the Taliban, I still felt safe. I never felt anxious. I still felt like I'm at a safe place. I'm at a safe, through Hawa, through you, through Zahra, through your sister. It was a very, and your brothers, and it was a very safe environment. It was very pleasant to experience, I felt.
Thank you.
I wanted to pick up on a couple of things you said. You mentioned your mother, Ava, and your niece. It's your niece, Zahra. I thought there was a strong duality, a same storyline that came through it. And even though there was the rise of the Taliban, the story is really about female emancipation and having to persevere, even though the situation isn't very supportive of that. Can you tell us more about this grandmother-granddaughter dynamic and how this came to be?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, as you could see in the film, you know, Hawa, when she was a kid, she was not allowed to go to the school. Instead, she was forced to get married to my dad, who is 30 years older than her.
Mm-hmm.
Then, you know, she raised her children. And for her, it was very important, you know, that the children, they don't, you know, go through the same experience that she had, you know. And she really tried that we get, you know, get our education and each of us become independent in our life. So, but at the same time, you know, she was keeping these dreams. You know, she like to get education, to become an independent woman. For her, it was not something that it finished like in her childhood or in her youth. She had this, you know, this determination to actually start to decide that she wants to experience it. She wants to do it now, and it's not late. But of course, there were challenges, you know, like she was taking care of my father, and she was fed up and, you know, staying at home. Once she told us that I wanna learn how to write, how to read. I wanna, you know, start a work. But for us, it was like such a, you know, such a great thing to hear for the children, you know, and it was very impressive. And we were like, yes, so this is something that our mom, she wants, and we want to help her. We want to be, you know, in this journey beside her, support her. And you see that how my brothers, even my nephews, they're helping her with, you know, with the education. So then yeah, so when Zahra came, so she was also, she wanted also to do something for Zahra, and you know, to send her to the school that she can get education, you know, and like to not again experience same thing in a village. But as I said, this is, you know, this is something that this is something like about these different generations, you know, three different generation of this family. Me, that I had, you know, I had a bit of, you know, freedom and opportunities, that I could get education, I could work. And then my mother that I just told you, you know, her life. And then we have Zahra, it's today's generation, and we were all happy, you know, that she is here, you know. And there are opportunities for her that she can have a different life. And this is what Hawa wanted, and we were of course supportive. But unfortunately, with the arrival of the Taliban, you know, it's the dreams of three generations destroyed not only us, but also, you know, all the women of Afghanistan. And for me, it's like this generation that they are, you know, it's been like more than 3 years that they are behind of the school's doors waiting, you know, that when it's legal that they go to the school, and it's just, you know, it's just heartbroken. But but again, I think it was, for us, it was very important, you know, to have a story of Zahra.
Yeah. What was very important to me, and I felt was very beautifully done, was that you represented Afghan women really beautifully. Because often in Western media or news, Middle Eastern women or Central Asian women, they portrayed in like the typical Taliban, super veiled, and they have no own willpower and no resilience, and they have no own opinion. But I felt you had a really strong sense of the women have a really strong character, and they have sense of humor, and they have personality. And I felt that was done so very well. How did it? What importance did it bring to you, and how did it feel for you to bring such a like a lighter and humanizing character for these women?
Mm-hmm. Yes, this is absolutely true. That you know, we have been like witnessing that how the West medias, you know, that they take, you know, these wrong narratives from Afghanistan, and how they show, how they have been showing the country. So it's like more the images are not true. It's more cliches, but
Yeah.
of course we have been in war, you know, and there is violence, you know, and against women in this country. But let's not forget there are women like
Yeah.
Hawa that they don't accept. They are, you know, victims. They are. You see how she is strongly, you know, stands for her dreams, and after 40 years keeping these dreams, you know, and bring them to the life. It's something very impressive. And me, I really wanted, you know, to have this story, to have this voice of her generation, you know, that she's not alone, and there are like thousands of women like Hawa, that they are like this, you know, they have a story that it's deserved to be told.
Yes, for
and
sure. Yeah.
and my generation, so you could see like how we were fighting, we were improving, you know, before the Taliban, and how we built like lives for us. So this is something, you know, that it's important, you know, to show that there are these stories, that they are, you know, very inspiring,
For
and
sure. Yeah.
it is a need to be told.
Exactly. Um, I want to pick up on something that was more behind the scenes. So we got the story of Ahava, your mom, of Zahra, but you also had your own personal story, moving to immigrating to France on a whim in 4 days, having to settle in a completely new country, not speaking the language. How was that for you to have your own big process in that in those last 4 years?
Yeah. So for me, it was, as I say it, it was the same day that the Taliban arrived. I decided to leave the country. I mean, I was kind of forced to leave because I was not ready. You know, I don't wanted to leave. I had a life there. I was working. I was, you know, with all the challenges. I was happy
Yes.
there. So, but I knew if I stay, you know, I am not able. I am not. I will not have this freedom that I have today, because we know the Taliban. They, you know, the history showed us that how they behave, and during these past years, so they didn't change, but even they are even worse today, and you can see now. So it was tough decision to leave the country, but I would say that it was, I think, something that I had to do. And when I arrived here, for sure, I mean, the way that we arrived, you know, it was a big shock, big surprise that how quickly the Taliban arrived in Kabul. And we were all, you know, just like in a few minutes deciding, okay, to leave the country, you know, just lock our apartments without, you know, just, you were just allowed to take like literally like 9 kilo, you know,
Yeah,
of
it's nothing.
and it was it was a day that I think I will never forget in my whole life. But when I arrived here in France, and the first months, it took so long that I, you know, I mentally I become a bit, you know, in a good I don't know, mental state, that I actually accept that, okay, this is what happened and you're here now. And because I had this feeling of guilt, you know, honestly, that how I can be, you know, here, and what will happen to the women and to the girls of the country. But then to continue working in the film, actually, I always say that it helps me a lot. It was a kind of like therapy for me, actually, to work on it and to feel that, okay, I do something, and I was very lucky to work with such a great team, like my editor, Afsane Solari. She's from Iran. We speak the same language, and she was a big support for me. I mean, besides that she's great in her work, you know, but also a big support for me that I really needed on that moment. So yeah, it was but yeah, this is something, you know, that I felt that it's important to do, you know, and this is my responsibility. Tell this story.
I for sure understand the guilt, but I think through the work you're doing with this film for representing the women, your mom, your niece, your sisters, I think you're it's still an amazing job, and it speaks of extreme bravery to do it. We arrived to the last question, and I'll let you be. In the end, even though it was a very somber story because of the rise of the Taliban, there's still a lot of lightness in the film, and I took that away. Definitely, like, there's still hope. What kind of what do you want people to take away from after watching Writing Hawa? Like,
so, you know, it's been the film has been in many film festivals, and some of them, if I can make it, I go, because I like to be, you know, to be next to the audience and to see how they feel, what they take, and usually what they ask me, that you know, we are very moved, we are impressed, what we can do. So this is something, you know, that that it reminds them that, you know, there is this country, the only country in the world that the girls are not allowed to go to their school. It's the situation of women. It's horrible what's going on, you know. And for me, I think it's important how the people, they feel, what they take. And I would say to them that there is so much thing that we still can do. We can, you know, we can support. So one thing is that they should know about this country. Like they should know this story. It's a personal story that I work for years, and that we this story is like told by us, you know, that we are from that country. And I don't think so anyone could tell our story, you know, than us. So yeah, it's I don't know, it's something that the people that especially, like, one of the important theme of this film is education. So, and I always, you know, I will always say that even with one message, you know, you can support women and the girls in the country to just, you know, to say that we don't forget you, we support you. And otherwise, there are so many organizations, you know, that they are working on the educations inside Afghanistan, underground schools, online classes, courses, you know, that you can take a part.
Yeah.
You know, it's yeah, it's it's something that I think very important, that what we can do with this film, you know, through the film. And I see that this solidarity, especially women, you know, how they show their supports, and it means a lot to me.
Yeah. I felt very connected to the film as an Iranian with the whole Zanzandigi movement, Zanzandigi Azadi. So it was very inspiring, and I felt very moved by it. So I thank you a lot for being with me. I thank you for answering my questions. It was a very beautiful film. I think the audience has to enjoy it as well. I definitely did. So thank you for being with me.
Thank you for having me.